Hello friends and welcome back to my shop where I make things like this. First off, thank you everybody who purchased a pen last week. We're completely sold out yet again. Once again, I'm always working on getting my quantities up and we're slowly getting there. Last week, actually a couple weeks ago, I finally made some changes that are significantly going to increase the amount of pens I can make. So that's awesome. Yeah, I very much appreciate the support and I get it. It's kind of annoying that it's a fire sale. I mean, I kind of enjoy that they sell out so quick because it's, always confidence inspiring, but I get it. It's frustrating that they sell out so quick. So I'm doing my best. Anyways, what we're going to talk about today is after machining the last batch of pens, especially like pen 100, which was fun. I did some different stuff, some different 4th axis milling on it that I'm super pleased with, and some cool anodizing. We're going to do a bunch more of those pens in the future just because they were, or that one in specific was so requested and so many people were gunning for it that yeah, I have to make more because they're so cool looking. But one of those things that's important to me anyways as selling a product is packaging the product. And I'm always trying to strike this balance between packaging that looks good and packaging that isn't going to slowly kill me with time and money that it takes. And right now I'm not walking that line all that great. I'm kind of a little too heavy on the it's slowly killing me with time and money. So this, first of all, this is the box that most of my pens ship in. I'm very happy with the way this works out. It's got a little cardstock carrier, foam on the bottom. I'm happy with this. This is fairly easy. Laser cutting does all this piece. There's one laser cut piece of foam on the bottom. This is thermal printed on my thermal printer. And then it just comes in a plain white box. There's all kinds of noise going on outside. Initially, I had bought some, or just recently, I bought some of this branded packing tape, which I really like because it's super, super strong. So you don't have to worry about, it's much easier to tape up a box. But that also advertises me on the outside of the box, which I like. But I've gotten multiple emails from people that are saying, I'm shipping to X country and we have a lot of issues with mail fraud. So if you can do your best to basically make the packaging as subdued as possible so it doesn't, people don't end up looking at it of like, what is this? And then maybe just quickly Google what this is and be like, oh, I know what that is, I'm going to keep it. So anyways, all my pens from now on will ship probably in just a plain white box without any branding on it just for that purpose, but inside I still want it to look pretty. For the past while I've been using these boxes, which I'm very pleased with. The only problem is these take a ton of time and a decent amount of money to make. So they first start off with a piece of just standard cardstock or chipboard. Actually, this is what this is. I've just reams and reams of this stuff. And unfortunately, I can't print directly on it because it's just a little bit too thick. So what I do is I get the artwork printed just on standard paper, and then these both get spray laminated together, and then they get sheared to size. You can see the red lines around here. I shear them after the fact, and then I put a alignment jig in my laser, put this into the laser cutter. It lasers it, which also lasers in the bend lines. I bend it. I glue it together. I then laser cut some foam. I laser cut some felt liners for the foam, spray laminate the foam together. Foam goes inside the box. Box goes inside the shipping box, taped up, shipping label placed on it, out it goes. That is crazy amount of time. Like there is so much work that goes into that. That is not, it's a value product, of course. Like I want it to look good when you open it, but you're buying my pen, you're not buying the packaging. So I have to kind of strike a balance. I want it to look good, but I don't want it to kill me. And right now it's killing me. My goal over the next few months is basically to get myself to a point where I could make 40 to 50 pens a month. I don't know if that would saturate the demand that's currently out there. I imagine it would, but I don't really know because the more I push forward with the quantities, the more I'm selling out. So is the demand at 20 units a month? Maybe. Is the demand at 200 units a month? Maybe. I don't know. But my goal would be to get to about 40, 50 a month. I'd be very happy with that. Building 40 or 50 of these boxes a month would be doable. It's just not smart. And costly, like the printing and then the cardstock and then the laser cutting and then the spray adhesive, which is actually a huge cost, especially with the foam. It all adds up to a package that, this box probably cost me like, not including time, probably cost me almost $7 to make, which is ridiculous. So the smart decision would be to outsource this. The only problem is I'm also iterating on this box too much that I know if I buy 500 boxes, I'm not going to be happy with them. So I'm going to keep designing till I'm happy with something, and that's basically what this video is about. And that's what I spent a few days last week, is just kind of trying to come up with something that I'm a little happier with that's easier to scale. Step number 1 of scaling was to get rid of this artwork laminating business. That's just taking up so much time. So what I did is I took this standard cardstock and I lasered it basically into a blank box. I had a bunch of these lasered because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I didn't want to do double laminating and annoyance with that. So I figured if I lasered them, I would force my hand into figuring out some method. After I did that, I realized what I want to do is just, one sec. Like my old squeaky chair, like my old meteorite cards. This one's kind of a dud. Some of the pieces haven't popped out yet, but these cards, I liked them because I can laser through them, and then on the back I can laminate another piece of like black cardstock on the back, and you get kind of a cool 3D effect, and it's decently easy to do. I mean, if I take just a whole sheet of like this, throw it in the laser cutter, I can cut out the box shape, I can laser out the text, then I only have to do one lamination, which I'm still trying to get away from, but it looks too good for me to avoid it right now. And that would significantly help because that would take my box from like 7 stages down to like 2. So that's what I did on this last run, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased with the way they turned out. They look super good. On the back side, I still wanted all my details and all my information, and the batch, the date, and my little signature to show that I actually looked over the pen to make sure it was good. And I was going to get that printed off as a sticker, and I decided I'm going to try to use a thermal printer to print those labels and see what they look like. And honestly, I'm really pleased with the way they turned out. Super cost effective to do, and they look really, really sharp, in my opinion anyways. So that's a nice balance right now. This is still my favorite design for the box, but the new version that I'm using is so much more scalable. Like I can make probably 4 to every one of these, and the cost is probably also a quarter. So that's what I'm going to be doing going forward. There is one aspect of the box that I would like to change. So there's technically 2 issues with the box that I don't like, but they're both fixed with one design change. So as you get this box, to me, this is the top, this is the back. When the foam little carrier goes in, I always put them facing the front of the box. So if you get the box and you open it this way, the pen is facing you, and life is good. However, if you open it upside down, which is probably a 50-50 shot, if you're just kind of excited and opening it, once you pull that foam carrier out, the pen can fall out the bottom, so fall away from you onto the ground, which is not ideal. So to fix that, I think what I'm going to do is instead of an end style box, I'm going to go with a pizza box that opens like this, which will greatly help in opening it upside down, and it also just presents better as opposed to having to kind of fish your fingers inside here and pull this foam piece out. And it makes pack up easier for me. So yeah, there's all kinds of better situations in that. That's what I'm going to go with. When I prototype all these boxes, I use, I'll link it below. It's a cool website. It's just a box template generator, but it's the best one I found. There's a ton of artwork to pick from. It's completely free. So you pick the artwork you want, or the box design you want. You set your internal dimensions, you can metric, imperial, whatever, and then you select your material. So if you want to do big, shipping boxes out of thick cardstock or a thick cardboard, you can do that. If you want to make boxes out of paper, you can do that as well. And by putting all those in, it calculates all where the bend lines are going to be. It flat patterns it for you. You can print it out in a PDF or on your home printer, cut it with a knife, or you can export vector, which is what I do, and then drop the vector file into my laser and laser it out that way. So yeah, that's how I prototype it. Hopefully I won't prototype more than, maybe a few dozen of these before I'm finally happy with it and I can send them out, because yeah, I do really enjoy making the packaging, but it's starting to become one of those things where I'm like, this is not really what I want to be doing long term. But yeah, that's how I design and generate all my packaging. So yeah, hopefully it helps somebody else out there. And if you made it this far, the other cool thing I was doing this week was annealing some steel. So this is some steel for the Nova pen project that I'm working on. It's basically cutting titanium pen parts, but cutting some railway tie to accent those titanium pen parts. So this is a 100-plus-year-old train track. And the first batch of pens that we did from this material worked perfectly. It machined just like a hot rolled steel, no issues. The second batch that I'm working on, nothing is working. All my tools are chipping out. I bought expensive annular cutters and carbide because I figured, maybe there was a little bit of surface hardening on it or something. Those are all exploding and just not good things. So what I finally discovered is the material is hard on the skin, probably from the train riding over it, which makes perfect sense, but it's also hard in spots throughout. And I think that's from the initial building of the material, like when it was cast and then cooled. I don't think it cooled uniformly, and I got hard spots and soft spots throughout. So the first segment I got was just soft, and this segment I got was much harder. So to fix that, I'm gonna anneal it. And initially I annealed a small blank, but I don't think I let it cool slow enough, and like just open air cooling, and it worked okay. It just didn't work great. So I built a little fire brick hut for another little test sample, heated that up and let that cool really slowly, and that worked perfectly. So once I realized that worked, I took the whole blank that I had, put it into my foundry furnace, heated that up, and let that cool for about 3 or 4 hours. And that fixed the problem perfectly. Initially, there was a flame cut edge on it where they blanked out the piece. And if I touched that with my bandsaw blade, I mean, it was glass hard, like a file would skate off it. And that just killed all the teeth instantly. But after the annealing, I cut clean through it without issues. So yeah, it's just nice to find a solution to a problem, especially something that you think is so trivial and that you know how to do. That's the thing I love about this trade, this hobby, this whatever this interest is there's always problems that you have to find solutions to, and it just lights up my brain and it just makes me happy. So anyways, pleased that works. That's moving along swimmingly now. Probably finish that up this week, and then we can get back to making all kinds of fun, crazy pens. So thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.